Now, for some reaction to HP's announcement, we are joined via telephone by Renny Ponvert. He's the chief executive of Management CV, a research firm that analyzes and ranks chief executives and their management teams. Renny Ponvert, welcome to Bloomberg.
Hey, Pimm, how are you?
Renny, what do you make of the appointment of Leo Apotheker as the chief executive of Hewlett-Packard, going outside the HP family and bringing in an outsider?
Well, I have to tell you honestly, Pimm, we're stunned. It's very different than what we expected. We had never believed the Tim Cook rumors. We had always thought it would be an internal promotion with an emphasis on sort of stability and existing HP experience. So we're rather stunned that the board has gone outside the shop and also really sort of outside the core industry expertise with Leo. They're reaching out to a software executive rather than a hardware executive.
Now, Renny, in addition to the appointment of Leo Apotheker as the CEO and the president of Hewlett-Packard, they also named Ray Lane as the non-executive chairman of the company. Ray Lane used to work for Larry Ellison until he went into the venture capital business working for Kleiner Perkins. Is there any sort of hint that maybe things are not right in the boardroom?
Well, I'm not sure what goes on in the HP boardroom, but it must be an interesting spot these days. You know, Pimm, it goes back to the last time you and I were together when Oracle and Larry Ellison particularly were doing their call, and they spoke about the fusion essentially in the Oracle product strategy between software and hardware. And I think this appointment, both of the new chairman and also the new CEO at HP, shows how quickly this fusion effect maybe is accelerating, and how the view is that you've got to have a very balanced skill set. You can't be purely a hardware or software company anymore.
Renny, with Hewlett-Packard putting so much of its focus on consumer products, whether it is new types of printers or indeed handheld devices, we know about their Palm acquisition trying to move into the mobile space. Does it make sense to have someone who's an expert in enterprise software running a company that seems to be focused on selling gadgets to people?
Pimm, I would tell you honestly, from our view, it looks like a sort of reactive hire on the part of HP's board. Purely speculatively, I would say that maybe they chose Leo because he had been a prior candidate for this job. They liked him and maybe went with Mark Hurd the last time, and this time they're coming back to him. But I have to tell you, the skill set does not look like a good fit to us. His strong European background is interesting, but I'm not sure how that fits HP. And as I say, once again, they're reaching out to an executive who's really a salesman in terms of background, very charismatic, very competent executive, but he was 20 years with SAP. I don't understand what the fit is with HP.
How would a hire like this resonate with the rank and file at Hewlett-Packard, or with any company, indeed, that's been looking for a chief executive, to find that they don't have anyone internally that the board feels is qualified?
Yeah, I think that if I would worry, particularly as an investor, but also as an employee, when the board seems to be reluctant to hire its own, which is a very bad sign in a mature company like Hewlett-Packard. It's cautionary that they feel the need to always be hiring in outside executives with, I don't know the details of the pay package yet, but you know it won't be small. I don't think that's a good sign. I don't think that's a sign of a strong corporate culture. And, of course, it's the antithesis of what Hewlett-Packard used to be about.
Julie, Hyman, come in on this topic.
Renny, I'm just curious. I was reading an interview that we did with Apotheker back in July, where he said he was starting a technology private equity fund in Europe. He said, we build great technology in Europe. We're not as good as turning it into large companies. The fact that he was on this track and now has turned back towards the CEO track, what do you think that says? Is it just that HP offered him something that was too good to turn turn up, or is it that his contacts in Europe weren't good enough to raise money for that fund?
Well, I think for various tax and other reasons, it's very difficult in Europe to, launch aggressive and successful technology companies, and I still think the United States is the ideal place for that. I think it's particularly difficult, though, for what is essentially a professional manager, someone who's been at a company like SAP for 20 years, to truly go out on their own. His skill set, we would say, is in managing large organizations and understanding how to delegate tasks, et cetera. Being in an entrepreneurial venture is a completely different skill set.
I want to thank you very much, Renny Ponvert. He's the Chief Executive of Management CV, giving us his take on the appointment of a new Chief Executive for Hewlett-Packard, Leo Apotheker.